Welcome to the Wild Crone Wisdom podcast with your host Vinutha Mohan. In this episode, we explore what it truly means to be successful by redefining success through the lens of connection, well-being, and the quality of our relationships. I fear the day that technology will surpass our human interaction. The world will have a generation of idiots. A quote often attributed to Albert Einstein. Whether he said it or not, the sentiment hits home, especially today. Towards the close of every calendar year, I have always asked my clients to pause and reflect. What progress have you made this year? How have you grown? I do this for two reasons. First, we are wired to focus on what's missing, how far we have to go, rather than appreciate how far we have come. Second, self-appreciation and gratitude aren't just feel-good habits. They are powerful motivators for sustained growth, health, and healing. But one time, reflecting on growth made me ask, how do we really measure success? And are we doing it all wrong? The scientist Stephen Porges, known for introducing polyvagal theory and his work on the vagus nerve, makes an important observation. He points out that we often describe people who have accomplished careers as successful, even when they are struggling in personal relationships. But he challenges that idea. Are they truly successful? Or are they just skilled in a particular dimension of life? When we look at success today, it's usually through numbers, titles, income, houses, cars, status symbols. What we often leave out are the things that matter most: the quality of our relationships, peace of mind, deep sleep, a healthy gut, the way we treat others and ourselves. Porges suggests that these qualitative aspects should define success. He invites us to shift our perspective. Maybe those we call successful aren't actually successful at all, just professionally competent, but personally disconnected. Porges also says something profound. Connectedness is our biological imperative. Let that sink in. Our nervous system, the foundation of both our physical and mental health, thrives not on achievement or material success, but on safety, trust, and connection. Science and spirituality meet here. Porges the scientist and the mystic both point to the same truth. We are wired for connection. In fact, research shows that many modern illnesses like anxiety, depression, insomnia, IBS, and PTSD are symptoms of a dysregulated nervous system. And one of the most powerful ways to regulate it? Genuine, safe, nurturing, human connection. This is what Brené Brown speaks of when she says that every human longs for connection and belonging. Social rejection is one of the most painful traumas for mammals. It's even more distressing than physical pain. Face-to-face conversations, physical touch, feeling seen, heard, and valued. These aren't luxuries. They are fundamental to our survival. And no amount of wealth, titles, or gadgets can replace them. That's why we often see people achieve rapid, extraordinary success only to crumble under the pressure and loneliness that follow. It really is lonely at the top, especially when connection wasn't part of that climb. Here's the hard part. Because our society places so little value on emotional intelligence, relational skills, or inner peace, many high achievers don't invest in these things. I see it all the time in clients, friends, and family. People settle for mediocrity in their relationships. They numb their pain with work, substances, distractions. And when I ask why, they say, well, no one else around me seems happy either. But here's what I ask them: would you settle for mediocrity in your careers? Would you aim for the bare minimum there? Of course not. Yet, when it comes to the things that matter most, we often accept less. Why? Because there's no award for being a loving father, no TED talk for being emotionally attuned, no WhatsApp video celebrating someone who is kind, grounded, and deeply connected. In fact, for many of us, especially in high performance cultures like Silicon Valley, the idea of being ordinary is a nightmare. We want to be exceptional at everything, except the things that require emotional labor and vulnerability. And the irony? The two areas people think that they can wing it, in marriage and parenting, are the very ones that will break down without real effort. There's no external validation for doing that work, only intrinsic rewards, which is peace of mind, true joy, a life well lived, and a death without regret. Because when the end comes, nobody wishes they had sent one more email. The regrets are always about love left unspoken, time not spent, moments missed. So, as you move through this season, whether it's a time of growth, challenge, or quiet reflection, I invite you to pause and ask yourself: how are my relationships with myself, with others, with the world? Am I investing in connection or simply performing success? Because, despite what society may tell us, true success isn't found in titles, wealth, or accolades. It's found in the quality of our connectedness with our bodies, with our people, with life itself. That's just not a feel good idea. It's what our biology, our psychology, and our spirit are all wired for. And when we align with that, life feels more grounded, meaningful, and whole. Let's stop chasing what looks good and start building what feels true. Because in the end, that's the only kind of success that really matters. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Wild Crone Wisdom with your host, Vinutha Mohan. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist from the Bay Area, California, specializing in trauma and attachment repair. I'm also a certified EMDR specialist and a certified shamanic practitioner. In this podcast series, we delve into the journey of our spiritual essence having a human experience. While many social scientists study human emotions, thoughts, and behaviors, and others explore transcendental experiences, few bridge the gap to help embody the spiritual wisdom in everyday life. I call this the psycho-spiritual path. Through this podcast, I hope to share bite-sized practical insights for navigating life as an empowered sovereign being. If you found this episode valuable, we'd greatly appreciate your support. Please consider rating, reviewing, commenting, and subscribing on your podcast platform to help us reach a wider audience. You can explore more of my writings on Medium by following the link in the show notes. We'd also love to hear about your experience, so feel free to share your thoughts with us at wildcronewisdompodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for being part of our journey. Please be advised, the information provided in the Wild Crone Wisdom podcast is intended for general information purposes only. Vinutha Mohan is a licensed therapist and healer. However, the content shared in this podcast does not replace or constitute professional advice, therapy, or counseling. It is essential to consult with a qualified mental health professional for personalized guidance regarding your unique circumstances. Thank you.